All right, let's call the next one.
If people call Detective Sergeant Todd Workman.
Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Have a seat, state your name and spell for the record.
Todd Workman, W-O-R-K-M-A-N.
Please proceed.
Sir, where are you employed?
The Michigan State Police,
And what is your occupation there?
Detective Sergeant,
How long have you been employed as a Michigan State Police employee?
almost 9 years now.
Are you familiar with the case of Aundria Bowman?
I am.
How is that you became familiar with that?
I began assisting the Allegan County Sheriff's Department in 2018 for their investigation.
In 2018, did you have an opportunity to interview Aundria's parents, Dennis and Brenda Bowman?
I did.
Would you be able to recognize Mr. Bowman if you saw him again?
I would.
Is he present in the courtroom today?
He is.
Can you point to where he's seated? And describe the location for the court, please.
Sitting next to the defense attorney.
Let the record reflect identification. Please proceed.
Is it your understanding that Aundria had been missing for 30 years or so when you came into working on the investigation?
That's correct.
And she'd never been heard from again?
That's correct.
Throughout the investigation, were you able to ascertain any signs of life of Aundria anywhere? Was there any use of her social security number?
No.
A driver's license?
No.
Any other searches?
No.
Going to fast forward to November of 2019. Did you have the opportunity to assist Norfolk, Virginia Police Department in an investigation in Michigan regarding the defendant?
I did.
Was he eventually arrested for that, correct?
Yes, he was.
While he was lodged in the Allegan County Jail, did you receive a request while you were at the Sheriff's Department that the defendant wanted to speak to a detective?
Yes, I did.
Do you recall a statement that the defendant made as he was approaching the interview room?
Yes, I encountered him in the hallway outside of the interview room, and he said, "I hope your cameras are rolling."
I beg your pardon, Your Honor. Could you ask the witness to speak just a bit louder, please? He's a bit muffled.
Okay. Can you speak louder?
Yes, I can.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Let's do so ordered, I guess.
Thank you.
When that interview began, did you read the defendant his Miranda rights?
Yes, I did.
Did it appear he understood them?
Yes.
What, if anything, did he disclose during that interview?
He disclosed initially that we had seized a machete during a search warrant at his residence, and that machete could possibly contain his daughter Aundria's DNA.
Where was that machete kept according to the defendant?
Under his bed.
What else did he say with regard to the use of the machete?
He said that he had used that machete to cut Aundria's legs off. He had found her when he returned home. He initially stated he had found her in a heap at the bottom of the stairs and didn't know what to do. So he hid her in the barn for a couple of days and then used that machete to cut her legs off so that she would fit in a cardboard barrel.
Did he indicate what he did with the barrel?
He said he put it out with the neighbor's trash.
Did he indicate whether the machete was the only tool he used?
He said that the machete was ineffective when he attempted to chop through Aundria's leg bones, so he needed to use a single blade axe to, quote, finish the job.
At what location did he indicate this happened?
At their former residence, which was right near the intersection of M40 and 52nd Street in Allegan County.
Now, initially, he said that he found her in a heap at the bottom of the stairs. Did that story change?
It did.
And what was it changed to?
Later in the interview, he informed me that Aundria was alive when he returned home, and he had found her upstairs, which was an area that she wasn't supposed to be. And he had recognized that there were some items that indicated she might be running away, a duffel bag that was packed with some clothes. And he confronted her upstairs, and an argument ensued. And he shoved or struck her. He said it both ways, and she fell down the stairs.
Did he indicate anything as to the noise level as when she was falling?
Yes, he said it was, I think exactly what he said was she made a hell of a noise, I believe.
Did he indicate that he went to her after she fell at the bottom of the stairs?
Yes, he did.
And what, if anything, did he say with regard to her there?
He said that she was moaning at the bottom of the stairs, and that her head and neck had pinned against the door jamb, and so he pulled her away from the steps and straightened her body out onto the floor, and noticed that her eyes were staring off, checked her pulse and there was none, and referred to her eyes as doll eyes, and realized that she was dead.
Did he indicate if he called for an ambulance or help of any kind?
He did not.
What did he say he did next, if anything?
He said that he carried her outside into their barn, covered her with some kind of tarp, and then contacted police to report her as a runaway.
Did he indicate he actually had contact with the police?
He did?
And was that at that same residence?
Yes, it was.
Was that while Aundria was already dead in the barn?
Yes.
Did you ask him specifically about cutting up his daughter?
I did.
And what did he say, if anything?
He said it was a terrible thing to cut up a human, and I think that he had said that in response to the question I asked about, what was that like? How could you have done that? So it was a terrible thing.
Did you ask him at some point to write that statement down?
I did.
Did he do that?
Yes, he did.
Do you recall if he told you he was going to specifically leave anything out?
Yeah, the statement he was writing was for his wife, Brenda, to read, and he told me at that time that he could not share with her the part about cutting Aundria's legs off, so he left that out of the letter.
During a subsequent interview with the defendant on 12/3 of 2019, was he Mirandized before that interview?
Yes, he was.
Did the defendant ask you for an opportunity to meet with Brenda in person?
Yes, he initially asked for the opportunity during the interview on November 26th, and then on the interview on the 3rd, I confirmed with him that I had received authorization from command staff at the Sheriff's Department to hold that meeting.
Did you ask him why he chose the machete as the tool he used to cut Aundria?
I did, yes.
And what did he say, if anything?
He said that's what machetes are used for.
When was the meeting that was arranged between the defendant and Brenda?
That was on December 5th.
Of 2019?
Correct.
Was that meeting recorded?
Yes, it was.
Was the defendant and Brenda both aware that it was recorded?
Yes, they were.
Were you able to also watch that interview as it happened, or that meeting, excuse me, as it happened?
Yes, I was in the room.
Did you hear the defendant tell Brenda that Aundria was dead?
Yes, I did.
Did he say anything to Brenda about Aundria threatening to disclose something?
Yes, he did.
What did he say?
He said that when he arrived home, that Aundria was upstairs and that she was going to leave, and he told her that she could not. She then told him that she would report again that he was molesting her, and he said, "No, you won't," and then pushed her or punched her, and she fell down the stairs.
What was Brenda's demeanor as this was happening?
She was weeping.
Did you meet with Brenda after that visit concluded?
Yes.
Was she still weeping?
At various times throughout the meeting and the follow-up interview, she was crying and emotional, yes.
What did Brenda say when you met with her right after her meeting with the defendant?
Object. It's hearsay, Your Honor.
Sustained.
May I respond, Your Honor?
Sure.
Pursuant to MRE 8032, an excited utterance, he's just explained she was upset, she was weeping, crying, and emotional.
I don't consider that to be an extended utterance.
Thank you. Did you interview the defendant again on January 3rd of 2020?
Yes, I did.
And was he Mirandized then?
Yes, he was.
Did he begin that interview by saying something about stringing the detectives along?
Yes.
What did he say?
He told Detective Haverdank and I that the best lies are mostly true. And so some of the things he has told us are true, but that some of the things are not.
What did he change?
During that interview, the biggest change was that no longer did he say that Aundria was put in the trash. He then told us that he buried her somewhere.
On February 4th, 2019, did you receive some kind of message from Brenda?
I did.
And did you respond by calling her?
I did.
Based upon that message, was a search warrant executed for the location in the backyard of the Bowman residence?
Yes.
And do you know what was found, if anything?
We found skeletal human remains.
No further questions.
You have any questions?
Yes, please,